Okay, once again, we're going to try to keep 15 minutes. We're going to demonstrate kind of how Team Builder works in Showdown and how EVing Pokemon and all that good stuff works. We're going to unbanish our damage calculator from earlier. We still have Chimecho up here on screen. So let's look at our draft league and see what a Pokemon that we might want to build our team around is. I like Hydreigon a lot. It's an underrated Pokemon. Hits really hard. It actually ruled the format for a while. So let's go ahead and add Hydreigon here. As you can see in Hydreigon's stats, it is a monstrous special attacker, and it is actually pretty quick. It's not quite over middling speed, but it isn't exactly slow. So it wants to work in a move called Tailwind. So we're going to go ahead and max its speed and its special attack. This is how you EV or invest in stats in Pokemon Showdown. You get 508 EVs. 252 is the maximum per stat, and as you can see here on the right side, as I increase the slider, that stat goes up or down. Same here. And you can do some fun things with EV training. For example, you can pull up the damage calculator here, and you can like pull up Hydreigon. Oh, that's Hydrapple. I want Hydreigon. I like blank set here. So let's go ahead and then 252. We're going to put a max 252. On Pokemon Showdown as well, down here is what we call natures. Natures will alter the growth speed of certain stats. They are listed here on the side here. So a lot of the times, like Pokemon will run either speed boosting natures to make themselves a little faster, attack or special attack boosting natures to have them hit a little harder, or if they're defensive type Pokemon, they might run a defense boosting nature. Pokemon that we talked about in the last video that like the move Trick Room, where speed order is reversed, like to run speed lowering natures. So like Relax Tier lowers your speed stat. As you can see, my speed stat went down. On top of this, these are called IVs or initial values. A lot of the times on speed lowering Pokemon, you'll have this be 0, or you can like if you want it to be a specific speed, you can go like here. Like I want it to be 12 instead of 31. But if you want it to be as fast as possible, then you'll just have that 31. A lot of the times, also special attacking Pokemon will have an attack IV of 0. Because there's a move called Foul Play, which uses your own attack stat against you, and if you have no need to use the attack stat, then it's best to have it as low as possible. You can also just add like the pluses and minuses here in Showdown to change its nature. So you can see in that bottom there, I cannot type today. There we go. That's an adamant nature. We're actually going to flip that to a modest nature. So we're going to have plus special attack, minus attack. We don't want to use the attack, so there's no reason for me to have investment in it. We are going to max its special attack. Let's go ahead and max the speed for now. I know this isn't typically like always this Hydreigon will run. You know, if you want to really check the EV spread on Hydreigon, you can come here and search for him. And then out here on the side, you can see the EV spreads and the natures that usually run. Timid is a speed boosting nature, lowers physical attack. And you can see here, this is HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed. So you can see it usually runs max speed, max special attack, and then a little bit of investment in special defense. I like investment HP, so we're going to keep that right now. So we're going to go here, we can choose our moves. You can look at those moves here if you really want, or you can look at the vast recommended move pool that he has here. We're using special attacks, so we're looking for moves that have this particular little blue icon next to it. This is physical attackers. Your physical attackers will use that stat. And honestly, Hydreigon doesn't have a terrible physical attack stat, so in Draft League, if you wanted to catch your opponent off guard, you could totally run physical Hydreigon. And then use some physical attacking moves, because no one would expect that. So Hydreigon usually runs Draco Meteor and Dark Pulse. Where's Dark Pulse? Am I stupid? I am stupid. Okay. As you can see here, my typing is Dark and Dragon. When a Pokemon uses an attack that is the same type of itself, it gets a same type attack boost, or same type attack bonus, which is a 50% increase in the damage that will deal. So sometimes it's better to just use flat out stronger moves of a type that you have, as opposed to weaker moves that might have some advantage type matchups. Like, for example, Fire Punch has 65 power. It does double damage against grass types. You know, so that would hit for 130 damage. or, you know, off rip I could just do 130 base power damage Draco Meteor, which gets a 50% attack boost, so it would hit harder than Fire Punch. And then there's usually a coverage move that it runs, like either Flamethrower or Flash Cannon. You could use Focus Blast, or as we like to call it, Focus Miss. Anything below 100% accuracy actually feels like it misses a lot more than the percentage it says. So a lot will run the move Terra Blast, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And then most Pokemon, if they're not using an item called Choice, or a Choice item, or an item called the Assault Vest, will run the move Protect. The Assault Vest basically says that you can only select damaging moves, but your special defense gets an increase by 1.5%. Sorry, 1.5 times, not 1.5%, that would suck. And then Choice Band says it increases your a specific stat, so Choice Band is physical attack, Specs is special attack, Choice Scarf is speed, but you can only use the first move that you click. So a lot of Pokemon that run the Choice items or the Assault Vest will not run Protect. Because you don't want to lock yourself into Protect, and if you have the Assault Vest, you couldn't even click it to begin with. So there's a couple different item options for Hydreigon. You could, again, come here and see which one it usually runs. It likes Choice Specs, it likes Assault Vest, it likes the Safety Goggles, which makes it immune to a lot of what Amoonguss can do, like Rage Powder and Spore. I particularly like these two items, the Scope Lens and the Life Orb. We're going to go ahead and go Life Orb. As you can see, it increases damage by 30%, but it loses a tenth of its max HP every time it attacks. So, and then it only has one ability called Levitate, which is immune to ground. So we've got some partners for it. Let's look at Amoonguss, but you know, we might not want Amoonguss because Amoonguss is spendy. So let's look at some other Pokemon that have the ability Rage Powder, or the move Rage Powder. Volcarona is expensive, really good. Sinistcha is also kind of expensive. But what's not quite as expensive is Poltergeist, which is Sinistcha's pre-evolution. We can look here at... There's Sinistea and Sinistcha. That's Sinistea. Oh, and Sinistcha. Oh wait, no, this is Poltergeist, isn't it? Poltergeist. I lied. It's not Sinistcha. Poltergeist is 3 points, so you can run Poltergeist. Poltergeist. So Poltergeist is not a fully evolved Pokemon, so typically it will want to run the move Eevee-Light. In VGC format, you can only have one of each item on your team at a time. In Draft League, you will be able to switch your matchup week to week and like kind of retool your team. So like if you needed the Eevee-Light on Poltergeist this week and like Charmeleon the next week, or like Pikachu the next week, then you could do that. But you can't have both Pikachu and Poltergeist have the Eevee-Light at the same time. Hospitality, so we can look at its two abilities here. Hospitality is on switch, and this Pokemon restores a fourth of its allies' HP rounded down. That's pretty good. You could also have it be tankier and have Fire-type damage, steal half of the offensive stat or half bird damage. And so that would be pretty good too, but we like Hospitality here. And so we were kind of looking at the Amoonguss here, so we want that move Rage Powder that we were talking about. And then we don't have the move Spore. Oh, we do have the moves. Oh, we have Stun Spore, never mind. But we could look at other moves that do the same thing, like Sleep Powder doesn't get that. So let's look at other moves that it could potentially run. We could look at its evolution. Sinistcha. See, so it usually runs Lumimacha Gacha, which it actually doesn't learn until it evolves, so we can't do that. It has Trick Room, so we could do Trick Room, which we talked about. And then if that's the case, then we can run Slower Hydreigon, and it gets some more investment in that bulk there. And then in the special defense. So we can do that. We can run Trick Room, and then it also run the move Life Dew, which is a heal, and then obviously we like the move Protect. And then Smogon does have some recommendations. I don't always particularly like them, but like for ease's sake, you could take the recommendations. If it has a minus attack there, I usually just like to invest the 0. And if you wanted to balance out the bulk stats, then you could get some balance there. Just kind of see how that works. And really kind of what you're wanting to do with defensive Pokemon is see how well they're able to take a hit. So like we can go here to Poltergeist. And then, so obviously we're going to max out its HP stat for a bulky boy. And then say like we wanted to take a hit from another strong hitter in the Draft League. So we go over here It's like, okay, who hits pretty strong that we think we can afford to take a hit from? Well, let's look at Garchomp here. So we're going to look at Garchomp. Oop, there's damage count. Alright, Garchomp. Where is Garchomp? I want a blank set. Okay. Garchomp usually runs max physical attack and max speed. So if you didn't want Hydreigon, you could run Garchomp. And then I'm going to put 4 there. And then, okay. So we're going to give him, let's say, most Garchomp run Jolly Nature to boost their speed stat. Some run Adamant. So let's go max attack Garchomp, so with Adamant Nature, which means that it's going to be hitting as hard as physically possible. And then here, let's say we're wanting to survive some special move, so we want to know how much we have to put into our defense or if we have to switch our nature. So let's go ahead and find a special defense boosting nature. That's minus special defense. Oh, come on, it can't be that hard. There we go. Let's go Calm. Okay, and then we'll select a move down here on Garchomp. So let's go like Earthquake. It usually runs Earthquake, and often Dragon Claw. Or Scale Shot. Not Scale Shot. Oh yeah, Scale Shot. Okay, as you can see here, Earthquake will never KO here because Poltergeist is a grass type. It'll resist. Oh, also, I want the item on here. Item Eviolite. Okay, so as you can see, we actually fairly well tank all of Garchomp's attacks. We will survive. Garchomp, Scale Shot, this is only for 3 hits though. So, like, you can even that's like, if you wanted to survive, let's say, like 2 of Garchomp's Dragon Claws, then you can start, like, investing in defense stat. That's special defense, I'm a dum-dum. Here we go. Defense stat, and you can see that percentage on the top here start to go down. So you're just like, I want to survive more than 1 of those Dragon Claws. So you can just really start to crank on that until it drops below 50% on the high rolls. Okay, so that's our maximum investment. So we would have a pretty good chance of surviving 2 hits. If he high rolled both of them, we'd be screwed. And pretty much like there's a roll, so you can see here like the possible damages here. And how Pokemon works is that each damage is a roll. They can high roll or they can low roll. There's, I think, 16 different damage outputs that it can deal. So if it high rolls twice, then we die. But if it low rolls twice, then we are being chilling. So there's that. So yeah, as you're building the team, just kind of look here. Like, we can look more at Sinistcha, like maybe what partners it has. It has a Tailwind setter, so we can go here and look at the word Tailwind. There are a lot of Pokemon that learn the move Tailwind. None of them. Oh my goodness, I didn't do Regulation H, did I? Reg H. And Pokemon. Tailwind. Okay. So like Braviary learns it, Corviknight learns it, Corviknight's pretty strong. Even like Dodrio learns it, and Dodrio's cheap. Flygon, Frostmoth. So you've got options for Tailwind setters if you really need them. And it is recommended that you have some way to control the speed of the battle, whether it be Trick Room, or move like... Oop, I do not want that. Or move like Tailwind. And there's other moves that can like lower speed, like the move Icy Wind. And you can look at Pokemon that do that. So you'll want a move, a Pokemon that can control the speed of the battle, can support your Pokemon, and then one that can output ridiculous amounts of damage. That's typically like how those go. And so yeah, this is kind of how Pokemon Showdown works with their EVing systems. You can go here, you can damage calc for surviving certain hits, and you can choose your moves here. Smogon has some recommended moves. There's usually useless moves down here that you might want to run sometime. Like if you really want a PP stall, you can run Spite. But yeah, oh, also you can change your Terra type here, and we'll talk about terrestrialization in a later video. But yeah, all right, thanks guys. Let me know if you have any questions.